What's up YouTube, Thomas L here. With Palms opening this week, since the film features Diane Keaton, I decided to do my top 10 favorite Diane Keaton movies. Because she's been doing movies like for decades. Of course, she's done lots of movies with Woody Allen, she's done like the Godfather films, and she's been in some pretty good stuff over the years. So, that being said, here's my 10 favorite Diane Keaton movies. Coming in at number 10 is Five Flights Up. Now, in this movie, it's about a artist named Alex Carver, played by Morgan Freeman, who bought up a rundown apartment in the sketchy part of Brooklyn with his wife, who's a school teacher named Ruth, played by Diane Keaton. And now their neighborhood is like very hip, and their apartment is worth a fortune. And there's stuff where Ruth's niece, Lily, played by Cynthia Nixon, is like a real estate agent who like lists their properties to see what the market might bear on. And so like on the eve of their open house, the Brooklyn Bridge is like also rumored to have like a terrorist attack, sending the media into very much a frenzy and people's attitudes about living in New York City and stuff like that. And so like closer to home, Dorothy, who's like the Carver's beloved dog, is suddenly having trouble to walk, so that's kind of making Alex and Ruth very depressing and stuff. It's a really nice little film. Like Diane Keaton and Morgan Freeman, you could really buy those two as a couple. There's like some really sad moments in this film. The chemistry between Keaton and Freeman is worth the movie itself. It's a really good little film. If you guys never had a chance to check out Five Flights Up, give it a go. I think you might actually enjoy it. Coming in at number 9 is Book Club. Now, in Book Club, it's where 4 women who has like a book club, but they decide to get this, read 50 Shades of Grey for their book club. And also because of the 50 Shades book, it like gives them like life choices, and they end up having different relationships. Like Diane Keaton ends up having like a relationship with Andy Garcia's character. Then there's like a relationship that happens between like some romance scenes that happens between Don Johnson and Jane Fonda. Then there's Candice Bergen, who ends up having a relationship with actually both Richard Dreyfuss and even a scene with Wallace Shawn. Then there's also a marriage between like a marriage that entwines between Mary Steenburgen and Craig T. Nelson. This has some pretty good cast members. Like Andy Garcia was pretty decent. Diane Keaton was great in this. I really love the cast members in this. Like Book Club, I thought was a really cute and charming little movie. I mean, it wasn't all about 50 Shades, really. I mean, I know people say, "Oh boy, a movie about 50 Shades." Oh please! I'll tell you one thing. This is actually a better 50 Shades movie than the actual adaptations. I'm saying that right now. I'd rather rewatch this movie than rewatch any of those garbage 50 Shades movies. I'm for real there. And it's a really good movie. It's a movie about relationship. It's really a really nice little film. It's a very funny film. It's very touching. It's endearing. If you guys never had a chance to check out Book Club, it's on maybe it's on Netflix or whatever. It's also on Epix. It's on DVD. I say give it a go. I think you'll probably enjoy Book Club. Coming in at number 8 is a film called Something Gotta Give. Now, in this, Jack Nicholson plays a womanizer named Harry Sanborn, who has a young girlfriend named Mara, played by Amanda Peet. And they end up arriving at her family's beach house in the Hamptons, and they find that her mother, who's named Erica Berry, played by Diane Keaton, also has plans to stay for the weekend. So, like, Erica is, like, scandalized by the relationship and Harry's sexist ways and all. And so, like, but when Harry, has a heart attack, you got Keanu Reeves as a doctor who prescribes a bed rest at home, and pretty much Harry ends up falling for for Marin's mother, believe it or not. And there's like intertwines between the two. Jack Nixon, I mean, he could do it all. He could do comedy, he could do crime films, dramas, and he's actually really good at comedies, whether it's Anger Management or Something Gotta Give. Like, I really like the chemistry between Jack Nixon and Diane Keaton. They were both pretty good here. There's also like there's also a scene with Diane Keaton that where she's pretty much topless in it. I mean, who knew that? But Diane Keaton was still pretty good here. I mean, yeah, like I really like the chemistry between the two. And Keanu Reeves was pretty decent here. And also, Jon Favreau was also in this. Frances McDormand was even in this film. It was also directed by Nancy Myers, who does romantic comedies pretty well. Really nice little film. If you guys never had a chance to check out Something's Gotta Give, it's another Diane Keaton movie worth checking out. Coming in at number 7 is Manhattan. Now, this movie was directed by Woody Allen, and it's like a love letter to New York City, and stars Allen as a frustrated TV writer named Isaac Davis, who has who twice divorced, who's pretty much been divorced twice, and he's facing middle age alone after his wife named Jill, played by Meryl Streep, leaves him for a woman, believe it or not. And so, like Isaac, is dating a fresh face Tracy, played by Meryl Hemingway, who's this high school girl. He knows for wrong him, and he like begins to wonder if like he and a brainy writer named Diane Keaton might actually end up being and the mistress of his best friend named Yale, played by Michael Murphy, might actually end up being a better couple. I know. This movie got released like late 1970s, and like I said, it's a love letter to New York City because Woody Allen, he does. Say what you ever want about Woody Allen, really, because I will say one thing. He is a real creep fest. Like, I mean, I always find something creepy about a guy marrying his stepdaughter. It should be weird and all, but whatever. But that aside, he's actually a decent filmmaker. Like, he's directed some pretty good stuff, and he worked with Diane Keaton pretty well on Manhattan. And he also worked with Diane Keaton on another film that I'm going to talk about later, like here in a bit. But Manhattan was in full on black and white. It was a nice black and white film. Meryl Streep, like she didn't have that big of a part, but she was pretty decent in her parts. Yeah, Manhattan is a 70s classic. If you guys never seen Manhattan by now, give it a go. And Diane Keaton and Woody Allen, those two have worked together really well. So yeah, definitely check out Manhattan if you guys never seen it. Coming in at number 6 is The Family Stone. Now, this is also like this film is pretty much like a dysfunctional family film, and it stars a really impressive cast. Let me pull up the cast list. The cast in this includes the likes of Dermot Mulroney, Sarah Jessica Parker, Rachel McAdams, Luke Wilson, Claire Danes, the aforementioned Craig T. Nelson. You also had Paul Schneider in this. And it was also directed by Thomas Bazucha. And in it, you've got Dermot Mulroney as a character named Everett Stone, who wants to bring his girlfriend named Meredith, Moran, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, to meet his Bahamas Connecticut family at Christmas. And you got Strict Lace Meredith here. And played by Parker, who is like feeling she needs backup by asking her sister named Julie, played by Claire Danes, to come along. And so like hoping to win the approval of her boyfriend's parents, played by Keaton and Craig T. Nelson and the rest of the family. Instead, Meredith, succeeds only in highlighting her uptight personality and making Everett doubts his intentions and all. There's like some nice moments. Like it's a nice touching moment. There's like touching moments in this film. Like the cast all had good chemistry with one another. It's a really nice little film. If you guys never checked out The Family Stone yet, do yourself a favor. It's kind of like maybe like a comedy version of The Big Chill. It's really good. Who doesn't love a good dysfunctional family film? All right. Coming in at number 5 is Father of the Bride. Now, in this, it stars Steve Martin and Diane Keaton as husband and wife named George and Nina Banks, who are like proud parents of Annie, played by Kimberly William Paisley. Presley. I think it's Presley or Paisley. Yeah, I think it's Presley, but anyway. But of course, Annie ends up announcing that she's engaged, and like their whole world ends up turning upside down, where like the overprotective George, ends up being the pretty much the father-in-law played the future of father-in-law played by Martin Short, who's like a over top counselor, and it's a classic. I mean, yeah, Father Bride is iconic. It's of course a remake of a 1950s film, but this is one of the rare remakes that's actually better than the original. Like the scenes between Steve Martin and Martin Short is pretty funny to watch. And the movie got released in 1991, and it's a movie that still holds up today. It's a hysterical film. It has some really funny, memorable jokes in it. Like, it's of course a good film about wedding, and families coming together, and it's a really funny little film. Definitely check out Father Bride, and part 2 is actually pretty good too. And I'd be down to see a third one. I know there was like talks about Father Bride 3, but never really happened. But if they ever announce a Father Bride 3, I'm there to check it out. I'll be down to see one. All right, coming in at number 4 is Baby Boom. Now, in this, Diane Keaton plays a New York City businesswoman named J.C. Watt, who is about to marry her job, who's pretty much married to her job and has like a relationship with Steven played by the late great Harold Ramis, who's pretty much a successful investment broker. And JC's life, of course, takes a unexpected turn when a relative suddenly dies and makes her the caretaker of a baby girl. And so, like, soon, the baby's arrival causes JC to like lose, to pretty much lose first Steven and then her job, and she ends up moving to Vermont and embarks on a series of life-changing events and all. But of course, she's offered the opportunity, and she'll of course return to. She tries to return to her corporate ways and all that. Like the relationship between Diane Keaton and the baby is pretty good to watch. Diane Keaton was really charming in this. It's one of like lots of people probably say this as her best work, really, but I wouldn't argue with it. Baby Boom it's a pretty much like a 80s comic classic. It's really good. If you guys never had a chance to check out Baby Boom, do yourself a favor and give it a go. It's a really funny little film, and it's a classic. Come on. Always gotta check out the classics. Coming in at number 3 is The First Wives Club. Now, in this, it's about we're like over the marriage, like Diane Keaton. Here's what it's pretty much about. Like over the marriage of her ex-husband to a younger woman, a middle-aged divorce, they pledged to her death from her penthouse, and so like at the woman's funeral. Her former college friends, played by Bette Midler, Goldie Hawn, and Diane Keaton, reunite for the first time in nearly 30 years. And so, like, when the three discover the reason of their friend's suicide, they realize that all their ex-husbands have taken them for granted, and they decide to pretty much take revenge on all of them. Like, this was pretty much... I don't want to get too political here, but this was pretty much Me Too before there was a Me Too movement. Yeah, it shows how strong women could be. Like if guys take women for granted, this movie will show that you don't mess with a woman and they'll take revenge on you easily. And I really like the chemistry between Keaton, Hahn, and Miller. They were all really great here. And there's also like a show, TV show reboot of this coming to the Paramount Network in sometime this year. And like a few other people in this, like it had a pretty good cast in that. Like besides Miller, Khan, and Keane, the other cast in this includes the likes of Scott Hart Channing, Sarah Jessica Parker, Maggie Smith, Stephen Collins, Elizabeth Berkley, Marsha Gay Harden, Victor Garber, some pretty good cast members. Rob Reiner was also in this, Timothy Oliphant. And it was also directed by Hugh Wilson, who did a pretty good job at directing. Like the three leads all had great chemistry, and I'd love to see them do another movie together. Like it's been a while since all three of these actors have done a film together. It'd be cool to see, or maybe like a sequel. I'll be down to see like some sort of sequel to this. That'd be interesting to watch. But if you guys never had a chance to check out the first Wise Club, it got released in 1996. It's a comedy that will hold up to that. It's really good. Alright, coming in at number 2 is The Godfather. Now, of course, here Diane plays, pretty much plays Micah Corleone's wife in this. Of course, Micah is played by Al Pacino, and he's like the son of Don Vito Corleone, played by Marlon Brando. I really like the chemistry between Al Pacino and Diane Keaton, and this was like one of Diane Keaton's like earliest roles. She was really great in this film. Although she doesn't really get much talk about in the Godfather movies. Like lots of people always talk about Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, even Robert De Niro, James Caan, Robert Duvall, and rightly so, of course. But no one barely talks about Diane Keaton. She was like always the heart of the movies, and Diane Keaton gave a really great performance in these films. And of course, Godfather it's one of the greatest motion pictures there is. It's iconic. It's of course a great mafia film. It's also a movie about a wedding, not to mention. Lots of people keep forgetting that The Godfather is a wedding movie, but technically it is a wedding film. And The Godfather it's just a great movie all around. For whatever reason, if you guys never ever checked out The Godfather, and let's be for real, who's still never seen The Godfather by now? Go check out The Godfather. It's a classic. Now, of course, number 1 should have been Godfather, but really, The Godfather is more of a Marlon Brando and Al Pacino movie than a Diane Keaton movie, so that's kind of why The Godfather isn't number 1. But my number 1 favorite Diane Keaton movie of all time is Annie Hall. Now, I do like this movie, but I still think Star Wars should have won the Oscar for Best Picture that year, because Annie Hall, believe it or not, beat out Star Wars for Best Picture at the Oscars. But that aside, Annie Hall is still really good. Like it was directed by Woody Allen, who did a great job at directing. Woody Allen, of course, starred in this as in it. Woody Allen plays like a comedian named Alvy Singer, who examines the rise and fall of his relationship with struggling nightclub singer Annie Hall, hence the name, played by Diane Keaton. And of course, they end up falling for each other, and of course, romance intertwines with the two. Like I said about Woody Allen, despite his personal life and him being a creep fest and all that, he's still a pretty decent director. Same with Roman Polanski. Despite Roman Polanski being a sicko, and I mean Roman Polanski is one sick guy, but despite that, Roman Polanski as a filmmaker he's still a great filmmaker, just not a great person. Same goes for Woody Allen. Like, say what you want about Woody Allen's personal life, his filmmaking is still pretty decent. And Annie Hall, of course, proves it. It's a 70s classic. It got released in 1977. Watching the same year Star Wars came out, so Annie Hall kind of beat out Star Wars, like I said. But overall, it's still a really nice, charming little film. great performances by Alan, by Diane Keaton. And Annie Hall also had other pretty good cast members. Let me pull up the cast list. Like the other cast in this includes the likes of Shelley Duvall, Tony Roberts, Carol Kane, Christopher Walken. I forgot Christopher Walken was in this. Huh. Sigourney Weaver was even in this, which I believe this came out like a year before Alien. So Beverly D'Angelo, John Glover. Yeah, had some really good cast members, but it's really the performances between Alan and Keane that really sells the movie. Like they really had great chemistry with one another, and Diane Keaton really have worked great with Woody Allen over the years, and with both Manhattan and Annie Hall. Some pretty good stuff that Woody Allen has worked with Diane Keaton on. Jim had Diane Keaton and Woody Allen never really done another movie since. I think Manhattan. I could be mistaken, but I think Manhattan was the last movie Diane Keaton and Woody Allen ever worked together on. And it's a shame we never really got to see them do another film together. But yeah, they were pretty much the best on-screen couple there was, And if you guys still never seen Annie Hall, check it out. It's a 70s classic. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Here's my quick rundown. Number 10, Five Flights Up. 9, Book Club. 8, Something Gotta Give. 7, Manhattan. 6, The Family Stone. 5, Father the Bride. 4, Baby Boom. 3, The First Wives Club. 2, The Godfather. 1, Annie Hall. Now, there's lots of other ones, like other films that Diane Keaton has been in. Let's see. Because I Said So, she was in. She was also in the film Looking for Mr. Goodbye, Reds, which was directed by Warren Beatty. She was also in And So It Goes with Michael Douglas, which was not that good of a film. She was in Marvin's Room with Leo DiCaprio. She was in Play Against Them, Sleeper. She was also in The Big Wedding with Robert Williams and Robert De Niro. Manhattan Murder Mystery, which was also... Oh, no, actually, I think that was the last Woody Allen movie that Keaton and her worked together on. She was also in The Terrible Love the Coopers, which was not that good of a film. Morning Glory with Harrison Ford, that was okay. Mad Money with Queen Latifah and Katie Holmes, that was not that good. Hanging Up, which was not all that great, to be honest with you. Darling Companion was okay. She was in Finding Dory. Oh, no, I think Radio Days was up. Okay, she's worked with Woody Allen and other stuff. But I think Annie Hall and Manhattan are just the most memorable ones. But of course, she was in Radio Days, which she had a small part in, though, so I guess I can't really count that much. Yeah, she's been in some really, come on, Diane Keaton was always great. And also, she was in Look Who's Talking, The Dirt Look Who's Talking, too, as the female dog. So, she's been in some pretty good stuff over the years. Anyway, let me leave it with you guys. What are some of your favorite Diane Keaton movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Tom Sells signing off.